Another beautiful day by the ocean, another country, but a beautiful ocean nonetheless. It always amazes me to think that we don't really know what's out there. It just goes on and on and on, and most of the world is covered in water and we don't actually know what's there. There's so much we don't know. We think we know a lot, but every day we learn. And I've been thinking a lot about the words, not the words, but words that I use. And for a long time now I've been talking about being on a healing journey. And I just like to question the appropriateness of those words. I'm kind of moving over, I guess, a little bit more to the phrase that the earth and life is like school. It's lesson after lesson after lesson. There is no end point. At least that's what I think. I think there's always more to learn every single day. We're always changing and evolving and growing. And I don't know that healing is the right word for that, because if you say that you're healing, then does that mean that you're broken? And I don't think that you are. I think you're whole and perfect exactly as you are. And the more I think about life and how I've been and what I've done, the more I realise how my behaviour has created so many problems in my life in the past. And how when you're not feeling complete in yourself, and when you don't love yourself fully, and you people please and you wear a mask, you can't change what's happened. There's nothing I can do to change the past. I wish that I could. All I can do is change me. And I genuinely think that everybody does the best that they can with what they have. And most people are struggling and fighting all sorts of battles and things that nobody will ever know. And I also think that we don't know anybody. I mean, we barely know ourselves, so how can we think that we know somebody else? And I think that's where communication comes in, and it's so important to vocalize your boundaries, your needs, your wants with people that you trust. And if people choose not to respect that, then that's okay. Maybe they're not right for you. I don't think I'm healing. I think I'm learning. And I mean, if I could go back in a time machine and use different words in certain situations and behave a different way in certain situations, then I would. But then I wouldn't be who I am now, because I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I've learned. And maybe all those things had to happen in order for me to grow. You know, if everything in life is always perfect, then you never learn anything. At least that's what I think. We do the best we can with what we know and where we're at in each moment. And each day is an opportunity to start again. But in order to do that, you have to release the past. If you hold on to the past, if you hold on to the emotions of the past, you keep yourself trapped in a version of reality that no longer exists. And you prevent change and growth and expansion because you're hanging on to these feelings and these thoughts and these fears from a previous version of you. And I thought about this the other day. So there's a lady that I used to babysit for, and in my head, her son is 5, but he's about 30, I think now. I don't know exactly. And he's lived a whole life. And I feel like I know him because I babysat for him when he was a very small child. But he's lived a whole life as an adult, and I've never seen him. I don't know him at all. And when you don't see someone for a long time, they may hold on to this idea, and you may hold on to this idea about other people, that they're the same person that they were when you last saw them. But I don't believe that that's true. I think even in subtle ways, we all change. Life keeps throwing these things at us, and these challenges, and that's how we develop, that's how we learn. And I think also we have to take accountability for ourselves. So in the past, I've definitely blamed other people for my situations, for my emotions, like this person did this to me and therefore I'm this way. But actually, I've allowed those things to happen. And I'm not suggesting it's easy. I mean, there are so many situations that people get trapped in that are, like, leaving them takes so much strength, like so much strength. I'm only really reflecting on my own life, but in a way, hopefully, that other people relate to. We can only control ourselves in life. We can't control anybody else. We can't change anybody else. And nobody else can change us unless we allow them to. So we have to take responsibility for ourselves at some point. As hard as that is, at some point we have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, right, this is who I am and this is who I want to be. I've reacted from a place of feeling less than and feeling hurt and all sorts of emotions. And it's amazing when I look back now and I just think that me now would never do any of those things that I did then. But I wasn't the same person then. I was still whole and not needing to heal, just needing to grow and learn and understand, just to understand this whole concept that we are ultimately in control. So important to release guilt and shame and emotions from the past. You know, people hold power over you because you feel shame and guilt about something. Then you can't live freely. So you have to let go of that because it stops you from becoming the best version of you. I don't like the words good and bad and best and worse, but I can't think of another word right now. And when you're the greatest version of yourself, you do the most good in the world. But if you're stuck in this feeling of guilt and shame and fear over stuff that's happened in the past, and I don't know a single human being who hasn't done stuff that they wouldn't do again, who hasn't done stuff that they would say they're not proud of. I don't know anybody. Maybe there are people out there, but I've never met any of them. I think everyone has done stuff that they've learned from, that they've regretted, that they felt shame and guilt over. But they've learned and they've grown. And saying, I should have done this, I should have done that, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, doesn't change what's happened. So instead of using the word should, you could change and say, okay, so this is what happened this time, this is what I've learned, and this is how I'll behave next time. It's an opportunity for growth rather than self-flagellation, I think. This is just my opinion. The man with a dog in a bag. I don't know if you can see him. He's got a little dog in a bag. It's so cute. So there's the only other thing that I wanted to say that I've been thinking about a lot, and it came up actually when I was away and I was talking to a very, very lovely man. And that is about human memory. So we convince ourselves that we have these memories, but there's so much evidence that human memory is flawed, and actually a lot of what we remember is either partially or totally incorrect, and maybe never happened, or even it did happen maybe, but not in the way that we remember it happening. So much of our memory. And then we layer on top of that stories that our minds create and emotion. So we have a completely fabricated memory made up of nothing but stories and emotions. And there's loads of examples of this, but one of the most famous ones is the Mandela effect. A significant proportion of the world believe that Nigel Mandela? Nigel Mansell? A significant proportion of the world believe that Nelson Mandela died when he was in prison, but actually he didn't. He died many, many years later. This collective misremembering. But it just shows how powerful this idea is that, we put so much weight on stuff, our memories, but maybe they never even happened. So, the past has already happened and cannot be changed. It exists only as a memory. Little doggy. Hello. Hi. So, where was I? The past has already happened and cannot be changed. Human memory is flawed. The only thing going over your memories does is create anxiety and keep you trapped in feelings and emotions of the past. And likewise, the future. Nobody knows the future. The future exists purely as imagination. Nobody knows what the future holds. And worrying about the future serves no purpose. See, when you release your guilt and shame and your fears and your worries of the past, of events that may never have even happened, and you don't allow your mind to create stories about what might be in the future because you can't possibly know, and you bring yourself into this moment, the present moment, right here, right now, because in this present moment, in this exact moment, you have everything that you need. And only then can you find peace. And for me, that's what meditation has been about. Training my mind to come back to the now. No more sleepless nights worrying about the past or the future. I still sleep badly sometimes, but not for that reason. The moon. I blame the moon. But yeah, anyway. If you stay till the end, thank you. This has been a long one. I feel like when I sit with my feet in the sand, the earth teaches me. But when I'm in nature, I feel like my thoughts and feelings are clearer. And the closing message, I guess, is we can't control anybody else. We don't know anybody else. We're just learning who we are. Have a wonderful day.